Number 11, please God, make it stop, make it end.
Never!
Shazam! The silver spaceship flies back to Naboo. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan go back as well for no reason.
The Senate is voting for a new Supreme Chancellor, and Queen Amidala is returning home, which will put pressure on the Federation and could widen the confrontation.
And draw out the Queen's attacker.
Go with the Queen to Naboo and discover the identity of this Dark Warrior.
And then they bring the little kid to a war zone for no reason.
So Qui-Gon is training him, right? Even though he knows he's not supposed to. He fully believes that he's capable of keeping Anakin safe. There isn't really anywhere else to leave him. Nobody wants him, and all the people that do are going to Naboo. They can't really leave him with the Gungans. They definitely can't leave him on Coruscant because they don't even know they're going into the city until after they've left. It isn't the safest place Anakin can be, but Qui-Gon isn't going to leave him outside of his control, just like everything else in this movie.
But really what's curious about this is that no other Jedi come back with them, even though there might be a Sith there.
We will use all our resources to unravel this mystery. We will discover the identity of your attacker.
Go with the Queen to Naboo and discover the identity of this Dark Warrior.
Mike, I just played that clip because it shits on your point about the Jedi going back to Naboo for no reason. Whatever, I'm used to it at this point. Moving on. I guess you missed the part about the Jedi being arrogant, tight-assed, politically motivated hypocrites with a severe lack of foresight, right? They believe 2 Jedi Knights are enough for this mission because nothing has challenged them for centuries, millennia even. They are facing a threat they do not understand, but they believe themselves so mighty and untouchable that their full effort involves politicking and sending 2 Jedi Knights. Because they are arrogant. They have grown out of touch with the dangers of the galaxy due to extended periods of peace and a lack of worthwhile opposition to their rule.
I thought you were going to work on that. There's much more important work for the other 500 Jedis here.
Oh, okay, cool. We're back to big assumptions about the state of galactic affairs. Where are these Jedi, Mike? Oh, you don't know? I don't either. Maybe you could send a master with them, but why would you assume Qui-Gon couldn't handle this if you were in the position of the Jedi? What could possibly stand against him?
All the Jedis will just sit here and see who gets elected Chancellor, I guess.
Another totally fair and reasonable interpretation of what's happening here. Thank you for your insight, Mike. I'm sure there's absolutely nothing that the galaxy's defenders of the peace are doing at the moment. There's nothing that could keep them busy.
So then they start to approach the planet. Oh wait, something's missing. Hey Bob, hit the music.
Yes, you once,
What?
twice.
No, not that one. The other one. The other song. Yeah, that's it. So everyone waits until they arrive at Naboo to start discussing how they have no plans at all.
They are literally doing it on the ship, Mike.
And no idea what they're doing.
I'm not sure what you wish to accomplish by this.
We have no army.
I can't fight a war for you.
Then they discuss options. Enlist the help of the Gungan army, and then use their limited numbers to their advantage to capture the Viceroy. See, they started without a plan, but then they made one. Padme's concern is the people of Naboo. It kind of is just people in general. It has been all movie. Even without a plan, she will still go where she believes she is needed.
Thank you, Ambassador, but my place is with my people.
Plus, do you remember when Mace said this?
The Senate is voting for a new Supreme Chancellor, and Queen Amidala is returning home, which will put pressure on the Federation and could widen the confrontation.
Going back can be really beneficial for them.
All of a sudden the whole blockade is gone too, and there's just one ship. Where'd they go? That's convenient.
Yeah, weird that it's almost like Palpatine is here pulling the strings again. Oh, wait. That's exactly what he's doing. There he is right there. If Padme attacks the Trade Federation and they lose a minor amount of resources, like 1 or 2 battalions of battle droids and a control ship, which they probably didn't intend to lose. They can use that to garner sympathy for their rebellion, which they are planning at the moment. Look, the dictatorial republic taxed the shit out of us, then sanctioned an attack on our forces when we protested within our legal rights. There's a dead Jedi here to prove their involvement. Here's Palpatine.
She is more foolish than I thought.
We are sending all troops to meet this army assembling near the swamp. It appears to be made up of primitives.
This will work to our advantage.
I have your approval to proceed then, my lord?
Wipe them out. All of them.
He's using Amidala's impatience. It's one of the things he's very good at.
The Gungans will not be easily swayed. And we cannot use our power to help her.
Gee, you didn't have any problem doing it before, asshole.
Wow, wildly different situation with wildly different implications. This isn't the fate of the Republic anymore. That is being decided in the Senate. It's just a struggle for the freedom of the planet, right? Which is way lower as far as the actual scope of damage is concerned. If the Gungans are going to be conscripted to fight and die for a cause, they need to do so willingly, not as Qui-Gon's slaves. Giving him one speeder isn't the same as binding an entire race of people to his will for a fight they will most likely lose, and lose hard, because it's a distraction with no backup.
So then they make a plan. The Gungans act as robot bait so that the Queen can sneak into the palace and capture the Viceroy while the fighters attack the droid control ship. So what happens again when they capture the Viceroy?
Without the Viceroy, they will be lost and confused.
These people up here on the control ship will have no orders, and the Queen will tell them to stand the army down, or she'll execute the Viceroy. It's pretty standard. Capture the VIP, force a ceasefire.
Excuse me? Hi.
Ah, god damn it, there's another one?
How do you know for sure that the robots will be lost and confused without the Viceroy?
I don't know who you are, but come on, man. You aren't this dumb. I believe fully that you are capable of rationalizing. The droids are unintelligent. They are incapable of being lost ever. Who is issuing the droid commands? What is the point of this ship? Are the people running it also droids? What will they do if their leader is taken hostage?
I mean, just by physically capturing him doesn't mean that all the robots will know that he was captured, right?
No, that will happen when they contact a control ship and order them to stand the droids down.
I mean, it just kind of seems like you're making up a bunch of BS right now.
No, it doesn't.
Hey, maybe they're programmed to just keep doing what they're doing regardless until they receive more orders?
Hey, maybe these guys give them orders and they don't want their leader executed for absolutely no reason.
Hey, maybe everyone should focus their efforts on taking out the droid control ship first?
They have got one hangar of small attack ships. The control ship is nearly impenetrable for them, and their forces are not a dominant space fighting force. The Queen's forces are a small, surgical team of security guards and Jedi. The pilots that go to the command ship are going there as a high-risk and low-possibility backup plan if they cannot capture the Viceroy.
Then you could skip the other two dangerous parts, and you could just walk up to the Viceroy and capture him.
That is a beyond awful idea. Do you remember where the hangar is? They went to it earlier in the movie. What happens if they make it all the way through an occupied city and all the ships are destroyed or locked down or inoperable? They were lucky that they were even working in the first place. But even though they are, the space battle is irrelevant to the plot. See here? Fight's over now. Everything else that happens doesn't matter. Anakin doing this? It doesn't matter to the battle. It's a little bit silly and unsatisfying, him accidentally shooting out the engines of the ship, but it doesn't break any established rules of the universe or any of the characters. And Anakin flying the starship around is cool. It gives him something to do that isn't just stand around and watch other people do stuff.
Who's in charge here?
She is. And he is. And he is.
What's this all about again?
They're devising a strategy to capture Gunray and end the occupation of Theed.
So everyone waits until they arrive at Naboo to start discussing how they have no plans at all and no idea what they're doing.
Your Highness, this is a battle I do not think that we can win.
The battle is a diversion. The Gungans must draw the droid army away from the cities. R2? We can enter the city using the secret passages on the waterfall side. Once we get to the main entrance, Captain Panaka will create a diversion. Then we can enter the palace and capture the Viceroy. Without the Viceroy, they will be lost and confused. What do you think, Master Jedi?
The Viceroy will be well guarded.
The difficulty is getting into the throne room. Once we're inside, we shouldn't have a problem.
There is a possibility with this diversion, many Gungans will be killed.
We are ready to do our part.
We have a plan, which should immobilize the droid army. We will send what pilots we have to knock out the droid control ship orbiting the planet.
Why are we all listening to this 14-year-old girl with no military experience?
Oh, okay, cool. You're making stuff up too. She's been incredibly tactically sound this entire movie. How do you know she has no military experience? She's vehemently against the idea of war. How could she come to hold that position if she had no idea what war was? And they aren't all just listening to her, they're strategizing.
What do you think, Master Jedi?
That's the point of the meeting. The Queen proposes capturing the Viceroy because they have so few numbers. The others agree, and they come up with a plan.
And I thought serving under Picard was dangerous.
Get back in the Star Trek reviews.
Yeah, what he said.
There is a possibility with this diversion, many Gungans will be killed.
Hey wait, Gungans? I thought they were called Gungas.
They all join forces and everything, and the Gungas battle the droids, and the
Gungans will...
Gungans will... Gungas.
It's a difference of one letter, taken from a clip from pre-production. They are only ever referred to as Gungans in the movie. At least be consistent with yourself.
What matters is the movie. What's happening in this movie?
Okay. The Gungans are creating a diversion to help the Queen liberate the city. See, normal people would criticize this part of the film because Boss Nass commits the lives of a lot of Gungan soldiers as a distraction force that he knows will die because the Queen asked nicely and promised nothing really in return. I would counter that with this scene at the end, symbolizing a unification of the people of Naboo, and I'd bring up how the Gungans were forced from Gonga SeaWorld by these droids, so if they can get rid of them and get back home, they'd be happy. Remember the scene with Qui-Gon, which establishes Boss Nass and by extension the Gungans as a very proud people? It also shows us 4 different types of Gungans, which is an impressive amount of interspecies diversity for a science fiction film. Nobody ever really talks about that. It would be really easy to make them all look exactly the same, but George Lucas went the extra...
We are sending all troops to meet this army assembling near the swamp.
Why would you meet them? Why not just ignore them? You have a fortified position. Can't you see an obvious ploy to draw away your protection?
Remember when Palpatine says to play along? Right before this? He says they can use it to their advantage.
This will work to our advantage.
Palpatine is trying to bait the fight, to use it as fuel for the growing division of the Republic. That's why the forces left on Naboo are so small, and why they let the Queen win. Palpatine knows exactly what Amidala is doing. If he wanted to kill her and squash this rebellion, he would have just had her ship destroyed as she was leaving Coruscant. He wants a war because he wants the emergency powers, because he wants his empire. Killing the Queen doesn't get him any of that. It just makes the Trade Federation look evil and unhinged.
This will work to our advantage.
You play the fucking clip. Holy shit, Mike.
How exactly will it work to your advantage?
What is Palpatine's goal now that he's the Chancellor? Come on, you can figure it out.
The Galactic Senate doesn't even know what's happening here.
Correct. But their Jedi Knights are here, and in an official capacity. That probably looks really bad to members of the Republic. If the Jedi can just go in and start attacking people indiscriminately, even if they've done nothing specifically illegal, some might even call for a secession. Maybe start a war for independence and their own control over governance. because the Republic is obviously overstepping its mandate here.
What does it matter?
Oh, we're just taxing their tea. Who cares if those colonists don't have any say in their own laws? What does it matter?
Once we get inside, you find a safe place to hide and stay there.
Oh, Christ, you brought the kid here too?
Okay, this part's a little weird, right? But Qui-Gon does believe he can protect him, and he hates it when things he believes are important to him are taken away from his control. In fact, he very rarely lets anything happen without his express permission throughout the film. He probably shouldn't have brought Anakin here, but I really don't know what else he was supposed to do with him. All the handmaidens are helping fight. He doesn't know the Gungans hardly at all. They're a completely foreign race that he doesn't really understand. They took him with him from Coruscant before they knew they were going to invade the city, and there's no one on Coruscant that wants the kid. Plus, Anakin has proved useful in the past. He might be helpful here too.
Hey, here's a safe place to hide. Not in the city.
Okay, but where and with who are you going to leave him?
I thought the battle was going to take place far from here.
Yes. Remember this?
Generally speaking, it's easy to get a handful of insane people to follow you on some kind of legal or crazy scheme. But when you're talking about a huge organization that's run with military efficiency...
They aren't an expert military. They are merchants with a large army. They got played by Palpatine and by Padme, and they are obviously inexperienced at the concept of warfare. They established this earlier in the film, which you conveniently ignored.
Hey, idiots, it was a diversion. I tried to warn you. So then the stupid kid sits in a cockpit of a ship. Gee, what a great place to hide.
I mean, it kind of is. Shields, lots of metal between you and the bad guys, big guns, missiles. Seems pretty good to me.
I wonder what's gonna happen next.
Oh, okay. So because he got in the starship for safety, and then he turned the starship on, it's bad. Obviously. My bad.
The difficulty is getting into the throne room. Once we're inside, we shouldn't have a problem.
If the Viceroy was smart, he'd be in a location you would not expect to find him.
I thought the battle was going to take place far from here.
But since he's clearly a complete idiot...
No, not a complete idiot. Inexperienced with battles. Not a tactician. Easily manipulated into situations by a Sith Lord. Good at trade. Smart businessman. Bad military leader.
Then yeah, it's probably in the throne room. Let's go with that.
That's a funny way of saying the most fortified and well-protected part of the city.
Oh, he's accidentally flying the spaceship. How cute. I hope he fucking dies.
Ah, word.
Wait, why is there a child-sized helmet and goggles in the cockpit?
I genuinely do not know how you came to the conclusion that this massively oversized helmet was child-sized. Baffling.
Nothing can get through our shield.
Nothing except for the kid in the spaceship can get through your shields.
Ah, see? There's your confusion. He didn't get through those shields, not by force. He suicidally crash-landed a disabled ship in their hangar. You know, the one designed to let ships in and out. Then once he's inside the unshielded part of the ship, he launches some missiles into its core that detonate something really important and cause a catastrophic failure for the rest of the ship. And none of that matters, because the fight's already over.
Then our bad guy shows up.
No. I mean, kind of. But no. Remember this? The title you were trying to figure out? This guy is the Sith, right? Wrong. This guy is the Sith. But the Jedi don't know that. This guy is a Phantom Menace. See what it did there? He distracts the Jedi and becomes Palpatine's scapegoat. The threat is over. Qui-Gon died, but Obi-Wan defeated the Sith and stopped them in their tracks. Except he didn't, and that complacency leads to a massive war.
And he wants to fight the Jedis, because he wears black robes. I'm gonna get you. You guys are going down. And the Jedi say, no, you're going down, idiot.
I don't get it. Why are you downplaying this moment? First of all, Darth Maul is fucking awesome. He doesn't have a ton of character in the movie, but he fills his role as an intimidating faux threat phenomenally well. He's a badass fighter, taking on 2 Jedi at once and handling them brilliantly. And his appearance means that the Sith have returned, that the galaxy is in peril once again, and that the peace that the Jedi fight to protect is over. This is a big moment.
Oh, and then they go from the palace to this room. What is this room?
It looks like a generator.
Is this in the palace?
No, it's in the hangar, remember?
I mean, I know George wanted the Jedis to fight in a cool place that's really Star Warsy. So what, this is like a power generator?
I don't know. Probably. Does it matter? It looks cool. What's this thing here where Vader fights Luke? I don't know. It looks neat.
What does it power, the universe?
That's ambitious.
So you're expecting me to believe that the people that built this technological wonder were dying without space supplies for 2 days?
No, you made that up. We've talked about this, Mike. How did you even come to that conclusion in the first place? How do you know it wasn't built for them by some member state of the Republic as some sort of trade deal or gift? You're just making shit up, Mike. Stop it!
So I have another question. And if the Sith have been extinct for a millennium, and only Jedis use lightsabers,
I saw your laser sword. Only Jedis carry that kind of weapon.
then why are the Jedi so darn experienced at sword fighting?
They train to fight and use the Force from early childhood.
No, he will not be trained.
No.
He is too old.
They are the galaxy's peacekeepers. They fight a lot of things, not just Sith.
No one can kill a Jedi.
I wish that was so.
They have really good reflexes and visions of the future.
He has
special powers.
Yes.
He can see things before they happen. That's why he appears to have such quick reflexes. It's a Jedi trait.
They would be incredibly coordinated.
So at the start of the film, we see that Jedis can run at a super fast speed.
Yep, that's a mistake. Congratulations, everybody. We've raised the grand total of mistakes to 2. It took 6 parts. That's 0.333 repeated mistakes per part for all you nerds out there. The Jedi cannot run at super speed. They literally never do it again. Ever. In anything. And when they do it in this film, it's unnecessary and doesn't make sense. If you told me this was an editing mistake, I would believe you, because it's completely alien to the rest of the franchise.
When the screenwriter doesn't know how to get them out of a situation where a powerful droid is shooting lasers at them?
They're out of that situation without super speed, by the way, and if anyone was curious. I mean, look at this hallway, and look how slow the droids are.
We never see the Jedis run fast again. Maybe there never really was a need to run fast again. Oh, yeah, that would have been a good time.
Yeah, if the Jedi can run at super speed and Obi-Wan just doesn't here, that would break the movie. But watch this. See how they run at super speed, but when the droidekas make it all the way down this hallway and around the corner, they can still see the Jedi running away, even though the Jedi are supposedly moving at super speed. It doesn't make functional sense. So my only conclusion is that this was probably just a mistake in the editing. Depending on how you interpret it, this is plot relevant, so I get why it annoys people, but no Jedi is ever shown doing anything that looks even remotely like this ever again, after this 2-second shot. I think it's safe to assume that they don't have that power.
Wipe them out. All of them.
If the orders were to wipe them out, all of them, then why are they taking prisoners?
Ah, shit. Plinkett, don't go there. Susan's gonna get mad at me if I start talking about the Holocaust. I just started this channel.
I will not condone a course of action that will lead us to war.
Roger, roger.
Yeah, you're such a peaceful people that you keep guns in the armrests of your throne.
She's against all-out war. She is not against defending herself. Peaceful doesn't mean being unable to commit violence. It means choosing not to despite your capacity to. Here, her people's freedom is more important to her than her desire to avoid conflict. Conflict happened regardless. And now she has a chance to win.
Yeah, peaceful and paranoid?
Finally!
Thank you!
Now this is pod racing.
No, this isn't pod racing. That was on Tatooine. You're in a spaceship now. Oh, wait. Oh, he was doing like a thing.
He's a little kid. He internalizes things and then makes them something that he understands and can relate to. And he's expressing excitement about the situation. I don't get it.
Number 12. Obi-Wan gets mad. And then I do. So we're back to the three guys we know nothing about.
I mean, that's just wrong. You can make the case that our knowledge of Maul is limited as a character, but there's enough to understand his motivations and who he is. He's the servant of Palpatine. His goal is to bring Palpatine into power through the Trade Federation. He's a skilled fighter and a Sith, who we know are fueled by anger and emotion from the previous movies. You can see Maul's rage painted on his face during the fight with the Jedi. He acts as an assassin, as an obstacle for the Jedi protagonists, and as a controlling force for Palpatine over the Trade Federation on Naboo. He's quiet and subservient, but intimidating and cocky. The two Jedi are brilliantly characterized throughout the film. Every scene they're in tells you something about who they are. Yes, even Obi-Wan.
Fighting each other in a scene we have no interest in.
I'm interested. Argument destroyed.
Their flawless choreography lacks all humanity and emotion.
No, it doesn't. It's an amazing fight between skilled fighters with superhuman reflexes. The emotion in this fight comes from the stakes and from the actions of the characters. Qui-Gon's death is the biggest emotional moment in this movie. The humanity comes from the death and the loss experienced by Obi-Wan and by Anakin. The fight choreography is amazing and very well done. The effort put into it was staggering, and the skill demonstrated is completely in line with what the characters should be capable of based on the mythos. Remember, these characters can see glimpses of the future, which makes these highly choreographed fights stylistically cool and internally consistent. But the Jedi aren't invulnerable, and Qui-Gon loses, dooming the Republic and Anakin Skywalker.
But then something happens. Qui-Gon dies, and Obi-Wan is pissed. Hey, maybe this'll finally get good.
Uh-huh. 'Cause it was shit before.
Maybe I'll get emotionally involved.
Are you even capable of that? Do you have the attention span?
You see, Obi-Wan is pumped. He really wants to kick this guy's ass. And then, bam! Oh, that's right back to highly choreographed fighting.
And that's bad. Because it's choreographed. Because none of these fights were choreographed.
It's like all this was planned out ahead of time.
No, it's like the swordsmen are incredibly skilled and have the ability to see into the future.
Hey, remember when Luke Skywalker got really pissed and snapped when Vader was taunting him?
Oh, we're doing this thing, that thing, where this thing is good, so that thing must be bad. Why is this relevant, Mike?
Remember how worked up and emotional he got?
Yeah, and see how instead of getting emotional and worked up, Obi-Wan centers himself and controls it? Like a monk or a Jedi?
He just started wailing on Vader.
Because he was losing his composure. Do you remember this part? That's him recognizing that he lost control and that it was a bad thing to do that. Obi-Wan already knows losing control is wrong. He's been trained since he was a child to keep himself from doing this, directly in contrast to Luke. What the fuck?
There was no grace or complex choreography.
That doesn't make it better. In fact, this fight scene is significantly worse all the way through. The emotions in it and the overall payoffs are better. And this is probably the best scene in Star Wars. But the fight itself is way worse.
He was just pounding him into submission, filled with rage. When you're worked up with emotion, you begin to lose your composure and control.
He doesn't know what a Jedi is, does he?
You expose your humanity a little. Obi-Wan should have done that just a bit.
He did. See? Yo. Then he composes himself.
I guess that's the director's fault, huh?
No, this one's yours.
In Empire, there's also very little complex choreography.
That's also wrong. This is fencing choreography, and that is a master fencer. It is incredibly complex. It just looks simple. The stances, the flicks and motions of the sword, the parry and ripostes, all of that takes a lot of skill, and they were all planned out in advance.
Luke is just barely keeping up in his fight with Vader. Vader's just basically toying around with him. He could totally kick his ass at any moment, but he holds back.
Yeah, because Vader is incredibly skilled at these small movements, and he knows exactly how to control the field and his opponent, because sword fighting is a complex art, and this is a complex scene. Much better fight than Return of the Jedi, by the way. It doesn't make this fight any worse.
You see, this was their first duel. There's a lot going on between the two characters, outside the fact that they were swinging swords at each other.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on here, too. Care to acknowledge any of it?
There was even a lot more going on at the end of Jedi. Luke was realizing he was kind of becoming his father and taking his place.
He's playing the fucking scene that disproves his earlier argument again for like the fourth time this video. I'm losing it.
The Emperor was proving a point that hate and anger can be a powerful ally.
Yes, which is why Obi-Wan doesn't give in to them against Maul.
You got things like temptation, anger, revelation, defiance, sacrifice, and redemption.
You're doing the thing again from episode 1 where you just ignore what's in the movie despite it being an actual mirror image to the things you appreciate about the original trilogy. It's very annoying. This scene, this movie, has all those elements in it. They aren't focused through the relationship between the villain and the hero. They are focused through the relationships of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and Anakin. The effect is different. The result is different. The content is the same.
What's happening at the end of Phantom Menace?
Qui-Gon gives his life in service of the Republic. Obi-Wan risks his to avenge his master and carry out his duties in his stead. Obi-Wan loses his mentor and guide, and Anakin loses the man who freed and believed in him. And peace in the Republic is destroyed permanently.
3 guys we don't care about are fighting each other over something. I gotta really stress this point that lightsaber duels have less to do with the fight itself, but more so with the internalization of the characters.
There is no way in hell that you know what that means. Internalization means to incorporate the values or patterns of behaviors of something, either consciously or subconsciously, through something you've learned. Internalization of the characters would mean to incorporate their behaviors or morals into your own. The lightsaber fights are about 2 guys fighting with deadly weapons because they're ideologically opposed to each other. The character interactions are separate but parallel. My point is, these duels are about the duels. That's it. The movie makes them special because there's more going on, but the duel itself can be judged and enjoyed for just the duel. And even with that said, there's so much happening in this fight with Maul and the Jedi, and you've just ignored it.
So if you've ever said that the duel at the end of A New Hope was the worst one,
it is.
Because it had bad fight choreography.
It did.
It was like an old guy and a guy in a mask who couldn't see what he was doing, so they were just kind of like awkwardly hitting him with swords.
No. They are obviously swinging sticks at each other. It looks ridiculous, and it actually detracts from the emotions of the scene for me because it looks so goofy. It's really hard to take this seriously.
Well, then I'm afraid you've missed the point entirely.
No, I didn't. The fight is bad. The story is good. The characters are great. Here, the fight is good and the story is also good. What am I missing?
It's really about moments like this.
Why?
Not this.
Why not?
It's more about this.
I am your father.
You're not going to justify any of this, are you?
And not this. And more about this.
Fulfill your destiny.
And not so much about this.
Nope. Zero justifications. There's depth in all of these. There are emotional and philosophical conflicts in all of these. Some are deeper than others, but literally none of them are just some guys swinging swords just because.
Now, you might be thinking that the duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan had some kind of depth to it.
Yeah, best friends, former student and mentor fighting to the death after the younger student destroyed the teacher's religious order, dismantled the republic he swore to serve and defend, and killed children to realize his own power has a little emotional weight to it. And the end result is tragic and heartbreaking. Anakin was abandoned, distrusted, deliberately excluded, and treated as an outsider and as a threat. And when he needed guidance and counsel the most, the Jedi proved themselves useless.
I won't let these visions come true, Master Yoda.
Death is a natural part of life. Rejoice for those around you who transform into the Force.
And hypocritical.
He has control of the Senate and the courts. He's too dangerous to be left alive.
And it breaks him.
What have I done?
So yeah, the fight has some depth to it.
Because they were former friends?
No, that's not why. What a terrible oversimplification.
While it's true that this indeed had a little more going on than nothing.
Oh, fuck off.
And even more nothing.
Fuck off.
This duel didn't need to be 45 minutes long.
I don't know what that means. Nothing in any story needs to be any length. This one is this long. How long does anything in a story need to be?
The ultimate point of everything was that Obi-Wan defeats Anakin.
No, the ultimate point was that Obi-Wan failed, and he was unable to kill Darth Vader because he loved Anakin, something Anakin couldn't accept and didn't understand.
You were my brother, Anakin! I loved you!
Having them fight in the most ridiculous of places.
Okay, yeah, it gets a little weird in the middle there.
Only to wind up on a tiny hill at the end was overindulgent.
Why?
This fight could have lasted 3 minutes in one location and still have the same impact.
Or it could have lasted 3 minutes and had no impact.
Still have the same impact in the story.
Oh, okay. Now emotions don't matter, guys. Payoffs are gay. Story only.
It's really about moments like this. Not this.
What the fuck, Mike?
The whole thing ends up going on so long that it actually becomes boring. Despite the amazing visual effects.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Praise for the prequels. Amazing. Yeah, it looks great, Mike. Nothing else to it, though. Just two dudes swinging plasma around for 45 minutes because they used to be friends and now they aren't. Clown.
The ultimate irony is that this fight between the same characters years later is much more interesting than this one.
No.
You see, we need a deeper meaning to things.
Stop saying need. You don't understand the concept of need.
Without it, none of it really matters, does it?
No. Sometimes people dying is reason enough for something to have meaning. The prequels have plenty more than that to offer if you don't ignore them or deliberately cut out content to fit a narrative.
Special effects are just a tool, a means of telling a story. People have a tendency to confuse them as an end to themselves. A special effect without a story is a pretty boring thing.
You said it, brother. Wait, you said that?
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be